Do you ever feel that you have to have your life together before you start making art? Or maybe if you're like me back in the day, you felt too broken or too overwhelmed to make art a priority in your life? Like it doesn't even matter because so many other things aren't working out? Well, I'm here to tell you from my own personal experience and from my work as a therapist that it's during the most difficult times that we really can rely on and use our creativity the most to help us get through it. One of the things that's helped me navigate grief and loss the most, besides doing my visual journaling process, which I'm going to show you in a moment, is reading the memoirs of others who've gone through similar or even worse experiences. And especially memoirs from other artists and writers, because it's like proof, and it shows me that yes, you can make your creativity a priority. You can use your creativity to help you navigate those situations. Not only did they make art out of their experience, but in the memoir, they've shared that experience with others. So when I say art heals, I really mean it. Now, before I show and share my visual journal with you, if you're new here, my name's Lisa Sonora, and this channel is all about using your creativity to support your personal and spiritual growth. Visual journaling is a really satisfying medium for making art because it's kept private, just like you would keep private a written diary. And since it's private, there's no pressure to show it or share it. You don't even have to worry about it being artistic, even though we're using art supplies. Because visual journaling is a visual medium, the best way I know to share it and teach about it is to show examples from my own visual journals, which I don't normally do at all, but I'm doing it just for the sake of teaching. The written journal entry I'm going to read to you today is out of a visual journal that I kept back in 2001 and 2002. I was experiencing a tremendous amount of loss and grief, so that's what I'm going to show you today. Vulnerability alert. Just a little context before I get to the reading of this. I kept this journal back in 2001 and 2002 during a time of upheaval and loss in my life. Basically, my life as I knew it came to an end, and there was so much grief and death. And this particular entry, let me find it again. I was searching for a place to rent. My home and relationship and livelihood, all of it disappeared, along with other things. So I feel vulnerable sharing this, but I want to give you an example of how you can visual journal about your in-the-moment experience of grief, loss, whatever you're experiencing. You can tell the truth about it in your visual journal. In this example, I had written in a written journal this passage that I'm going to read you, and when I was making this visual journal, I painted this image in collaged, and I wanted to include this journal entry with this picture, but the writing wouldn't have fit on the page, especially how messy I am with my writing. So I typed up my written journal entry and kind of typeset it so that it fit onto a piece of paper. So I printed it out on colored paper, I printed it out and glued it in. That's why this page is typed. And if you've ever tried finding an apartment in an expensive city like the San Francisco Bay Area where I was looking, you can feel my pain. So this is from May 2002. Heart aching all day. A few rentals listed in Fairfax, all over my budget. Called anyway, can't hurt to look. Aching, painting, and crying. I always tell my students, you can hold a paintbrush in one hand and a Kleenex in the other. It's true, you can paint and cry at the same time. I feel so lost right now, so alone. The sadness feels unbearable. I'm too heavy. Something is crushing me from the inside. Yesterday I found a young blue jay crushed on the sidewalk, covered in ants. The feathers on his head, a halo of gray fluff. I am a fragile bird, longing for her mother, longing for her nest. Only I'm not young. I'm crying, and there's no mother who will come. The mothering I crave, like the sense of being at home, must also come from the inside. How do I feel my lostness without being swallowed by a hole? Can't think my way out of it. Don't want to think my way out of this. My mantra, it's not a mental process. I keep writing, painting, moving between the kitchen, bathroom, studio, as if I am alive and well. I noticed how shallowly I breathe, a shadow of myself who can never feel warm. I don't know how to get through this, don't know what I'm doing. Feeling my way along in the dark, trying to avoid letting my thinking direct this journey. If I think of this as a journey, something lightens. When I consider it an initiation into my true life, I say, okay, then bring it on, because I don't want more of the old way, slinking around, trying to be good enough, trying to sneak love, steal love, have love. So how does one make a home for oneself in the world, in one's own heart, in one's own body? This is what I'm trying to find out, and this is what this book is about. I call it homework. It's the work I've avoided all my adult years, the work of belonging in the here and now, the work of claiming what is as my own. The razor's edge is here, and it's the only doorway there is into what I really want, into my own life. My life is waiting for me behind that door. The razor's edge is this meeting between the rawness of my aching heart and the desire to stay with it in a healthy way. No self-pity, no blame. Feeling the ache, keeping going, not collapsing. Feeling while painting, feeling while writing, feeling while going through all the motions of life, trying to recognize the beauty all around me and the opportunities to feel alive that are here. I'm grieving. There's been so much bloodletting this last year. If this is what my soul has ordered up, I can trust that. I'm knocking at my own door for the first time in my whole life. I feel like I'm going to die. It's true, I hear Susanna say. Who you take yourself to be will die. Susanna was my therapist. I wasn't going through this alone. Yes, I had help, and I told her all about this. And she said, yes, who you take yourself to be will die. My life is waiting. So out of the writing was that phrase, and so I put it in rubber stamps right here. Well, this is over 20 years old. My life is still waiting. I'm still here, and thank goodness for visual journaling. I hope this gives you some ideas you can use for your own creative practice, your own creative process. If you want to see more of my visual journals, I will link a playlist in the description box below, along with resources in case you want to take a visual journaling workshop with me. If you are enjoying this content, I think you'd really like my classes. If you want to hear me read from some of my other visual journals, I'll leave a link to you in the description box below for other videos like this that you can watch, as well as lots of resources for you to get started keeping a visual journal. Thanks so much for watching.